I hate clowns. But not for the normal reason other people hate clowns. It was the summer. I was 9 when I went to the carnival with my family. They had everything. Elephants, bright colors, and of course, clowns. I shudder whenever I hear that word. So we went into the big tent. The ringmaster was there. There was a guy balancing on a tightrope. You know, the works. And then the clowns came along. They smiled sinisterly at us. Well, more or less at me. I started to feel afraid, but my mom calmed me down, saying that they would never hurt me. Then I saw a different clown. My God, he was probably the scariest of them all. His smile was huge, with his yellow teeth showing. He had orange hair and a tiny hat. He wore a leaf green clothes, not like the other ones, and he stared right at my soul. I decided this was enough. I asked my parents if we could go, but they said no. They didn't want to waste money, so we watched the entertainment, if you want to call it that. Half an hour later, I saw the clown again. He stared at me again. What gives? I wonder. When the show was finally over, we exited the tent and walked in the crowd. It was very hard to keep up with my parents, because many people showed up. I got distracted by a monkey that escaped from his cage. I turned back to see that my parents were gone. Oh God, I thought. Where could they have gone? I asked around, asking if they saw my parents. They didn't even look at me. Weird. Why would they ignore a lost child? Suddenly, I was punched in the stomach and fell to the ground. I blacked out after that. I slowly raised my eyelids to see a horrifying sight. It was a freezer with pigs hanging on wires. Words were written in blood on the walls, spelling things like help, end my misery, and the last one, nasty will get you. I tried to get out of my chair, but I was bound to the chair. I heard the freezer door open. Maybe it was someone coming to rescue me? Yes! But it wasn't. Instead, it was that clown carrying a butcher's knife. He leaned towards me. He then uttered a few words.
Are you having fun yet?
I tried furiously to get out of my chair, screaming for help, but I could only make a few small squeaks. The clown started to laugh. He laughed hysterically, then stopped in mid-laugh. He said,
I don't think we are having fun yet.
He took his knife and jabbed it right into my left knee. I screamed in sheer agony. And then he did my right. He pulled up his pants a little and showed his striped socks.
Let's give you a pair.
He took off my shoes and socks and violently cut stripes on my leg. I started to cry. He put his finger to his mouth.
Hush! We don't want to wake the other children.
I looked behind my shoulder. There was a pile of dead children's bodies. They were cut up into individual pieces, with the arms in one pile and the eyes in another. I screamed even louder, and then vomited.
Ew! Yucky, yucky.
He then went off and shut the freezer door. I rocked my chair back and forth, hoping that the sound would trigger some attention. The clown then came back with a glass of green liquid. I was confused as to what it was. He then cut the ropes. He was letting me go? But no. He quickly gripped my arm and dunked my hand into the glass. The liquid burned so much. He then got my other hand and dipped it in as well. I soon realized that it was acid. And he laughed again. Feeling the need for revenge, I kicked the glass into the clown's face. His face burned. He screeched horribly and fell on the floor. I ran out of the freezer. I was now in a dingy hallway with strobe lights overhead. I ran as fast as I could. I felt weaker and weaker as I ran slower and slower. Then there was a door. Maybe it was the exit. But once again, I was wrong. I actually ended up entering a room with both of my parents' corpses. I stared at the two in disbelief. I fell on my knees and cried. I sobbed for what felt like hours. Suddenly, the door opened, and he was there, with his face horribly disfigured. He held his butcher's knife high and laughed uncontrollably. I closed my eyes, waiting for my doom. But then, I heard a gunshot. I opened my eyes, and the clown was emotionless. He then fell to the ground, face first. And the police officer was there. I was saved. He rushed to me, with doctors putting me on a stretcher, and I was rushed out of the building, and they drove me to a hospital. So, because of clowns, I could never use my hands again, and my parents were dead. My whole life ruined because of Nasty the Clown.